GoPro continue to set the benchmark when it comes to action cameras. They've even had a stab at the budget market with the GoPro Hero, again setting a new benchmark. Although the budget action cam market seems like it's bursting at its seams, if a GoPro clone is what you're after, then this could be the solution, the Amkov AMK5000s. Choosing the right budget action camera is becoming increasingly difficult with a huge influx of options coming from the Chinese markets. Gearbest.com are a large action cam stockist where you'll find an array of budget action cameras including this. The Amkov AMK5000s, also known as the SJ5000, sports a 20 megapixel image sensor and boasts the same full HD recording at a smooth 30 frames per second as the competition. With attractive packaging, the box contains the Amkov action camera itself, a USB plug adapter, along with a standard micro USB to USB cable, a 1150 mAh battery, a small user guide, and an array of mounts and accessories including extension arms and thumb screws, adhesive mounts, a strap mount, even a frame mount for placing the camera in. A great all-round package thanks to that large array of mounting accessories. Waterproof to 30 meters and very similar in looks to the GoPro, the sports cam comes wrapped within its waterproof housing with a flat lens for underwater clarity and 3 buttons lining up with the camera inside. The mount beneath the housing provides complete compatibility with the GoPro mounting ecosystem. Even the top latch, although slightly different in shape, opens much like a GoPro Hero 2 housing by lifting on the front, providing easy access to the main camera unit within. The similarities don't end there. Not only is the housing very much GoPro-like, so is the camera within. With almost identical dimensions and the same low weight, the camera even fits directly into a standard GoPro housing. The buttons and LCD line up with precision. Just like the AMK5000, the AMK5000s is powered by a Sunplus 6330M chipset, although steps up to a 20 megapixel CMOS image sensor capable of shooting full HD 1080p video at 30 frames per second. As with the GoPro, the Sportscam provides a standard LCD screen with a power and mode button just below, alongside 2 small LED status indicators. A microphone sits below the unit, as well as another at the top alongside a shutter button and a further recording LED indicator. Again, similar to the GoPro, one side houses the Wi-Fi button and another recording LED indicator, while the opposite side has yet another LED, as well as micro USB and HDMI ports, and a slot for insertion of a memory card up to 32GB in capacity being supported. A familiar rear battery door can be removed for insertion of the included 1150 mAh battery, which provides up to 150 minutes of full 1080p recording time. Although similar in size and shape to the GoPro Hero 3 and 3 Plus batteries, they are not interchangeable. So a striking resemblance to the GoPro, yet that's where the similarities end. Being a budget camera, users will notice the budget level features upon switching the unit on. A 3-second button press switches the unit on, greeting users with a timer indicating recording time available on the inserted card in hours and minutes, a small icon just above indicating current mode, along with battery and memory card status icons below. The mode button can be used to cycle through camera options. A short press cycles between the video modes ranging from 1080p at 30 frames per second to 720p at 60 and through to photo mode, while the shutter button above is used only for taking images and starting or stopping video capture. Talking of capture, the LEDs flash to indicate video is being taken, although there's no way to turn these off. Also notice how the timer is not increasing on the LCD. Unlike other action cams, it seems to only count in minutes and hours, not seconds. Furthermore, when taking an image, after pressing the shutter button, the LEDs flash for several seconds with no sound, so there's no way to actually tell at which point the image is taken. You just have to wait until the LEDs stop flashing. Some minor annoyances users will need to bear in mind when using this camera. As for settings, that's really all there is to it. There's nothing else available to set and no other modes to select. Any further settings must be changed through the Wi-Fi app, activated by switching on the camera's Wi-Fi using the button on the side of the unit. For most users, that reliance on a separate app to change some basic settings is a pretty major shortcoming. you'd expect the camera to act as a standalone unit for times when access to the app is not convenient. Nevertheless, freely available on the iOS and Android platforms, the AMK iCam app is almost as simple as the camera itself. Upon successful connection, a live view is immediately on display with a shutter button at the bottom, along with mode, select and playback buttons alongside. A settings button on the top corner allows easy access to settings available of the currently active mode, such as white balancing, spot metering, color effects and so on. Other than some quick access links on the main home screen and a battery status indicator, there's really not much more to do. While the app interface is simplistic, it's very intuitive and acts as a remote for the Sportscam. By far where the Sportscam beats the competition hands down is with the live streaming. It's seriously responsive, pretty much the best I've seen with any action camera in the past, even the latest GoPro cameras. There's very little noticeable camera lag. The Sportscam certainly hits this spot on. Other than the reliance on the app for changing settings, the camera itself performs rather well in actual usage thanks to that 20 megapixel CMOS sensor. Images are relatively vivid and contain decent color reproduction, although they can become a little oversaturated at times, and the dynamic range isn't brilliant, but adequate for a budget camera of this kind. Noise is evident, although again it's expected for a budget sports cam, and the resulting images are more than usable for general social media sharing, certainly on par with competing units. With the standard 1080p HD 30 frames per second video capture, the Sportscam produces surprisingly good results. The field of view, although unchangeable, is relatively wide, and footage shot in good light is relatively crisp and clear with no visible rolling shutter. Again, the dynamic range isn't the best, and the GoPro Hero certainly performs better in this regard, although for a budget camera the unit is a relatively good performer. As with other cameras in the price range, artifacting is heavily evident in footage shot in low light, although action cameras generally aren't suited to such conditions in the first instance. If you're looking to shoot in poorly lit areas, this certainly isn't the solution for you. Although a frame mount is included within the package and helps with audio capture as with the competition, and similar to action cameras of this type, audio capture is relatively poor. Good enough to get a feel for the captured surroundings, but an external audio capture device would certainly be a wise choice. The lack of settings menus accessible on the camera itself is a big shortcoming, meaning users will need to rely on the accompanying app. The camera menu itself is only good for changing modes, although the app provides further settings to be tweaked, including white balance and exposure, all with that fantastic, almost lag-free live view. Adding to the unit's annoyances are the camera's timer, showing hours and minutes instead of minutes and seconds like most other competing cameras, along with that slow shutter speed and blinking lights that can't be switched off. Nevertheless, when it comes to image and video quality, yes, dynamic range isn't great, images can be a little oversaturated, and some noise is visible, although there's no visible rolling shutter, and on the whole, results were rather pleasing for a budget camera. I wouldn't rely on the camera for low light or harsh contrasting light conditions, but with plenty of good natural light, it performs rather well. Whether it's worth the $80 price tag depends on what you want to do with it. For students and kids making fun skateboarding or surfing videos, or for those who need a few POV action cams that you don't mind destroying while you try to get a few impossible shots for a project, it's a great all-round package. The included accessories are probably worth half the total cost to begin with. Even though it's $50 cheaper than the budget GoPro Hero, those serious about their capture results will still lean towards the GoPro, even with its lack of Wi-Fi. For those looking for something even cheaper, if you can get over the reliance on the app, the Amkov AMK5000s is a good overall performer.